Hey guys, welcome back to Chalkboard Tutorials. In this episode, we'll be kickstarting our new series on economic philosophy and really going to look at how many of the economic policies that we've come to know of today really started off. So we'll be starting off with the big three, which is based off the work of Skousen. Now, I think it's a great introductory text if someone has a passing interest or wants to develop a sort of skill in the subject. I think it's a great read. I will be attaching his book in the description box, so be sure to check it out. But other than that, let's jump straight into it. The whole premise behind the book, The Big Three, is that in the last 3 decades, there's been three economists that stand out as archetypical symbols to three very distinctive approaches or outlooks towards economic philosophy. So initially, we have a chap known as Adam Smith, who is a student of the Scottish Enlightenment approach of a system of natural liberty. Now, the easiest way to think about it is Adam Smith's outlook is pretty similar to what we have today, what we know today as a liberal democrat. And the idea behind Adam Smith's outlook was that markets, in order to truly prosper, had to be unfettered or unrestricted. So an unrestricted market with no external influences beyond just the natural organic drive. Now, unfortunately, the approach to an unrestricted market resulted in an increase in the segregation between people and the disparity, which then led to a form of industrial capitalism. And post the industrial capitalism coming into huge play and people getting disenfranchised with it leads to our next philosopher, who is Karl Marx. Now, Karl Marx had a completely polar viewpoint to Adam Smith regarding how an economy should be managed, and he was more of a proponent of the fact that a market should be centrally planned command economy at all levels, so both at micro and macro levels. It has to be centrally planned. Which then brings us to our third economist, who is John Maynard Keynes. Now, John Maynard Keynes was a 20th century British economist who had sort of what we come to know as the middle ground between these two philosophers, which was to sort and stabilize a crisis-prone market system through activist fiscal and monetary government policies. So largely similar to how Adam Smith had an unrestricted market, but with intervention, of course, through activist and fiscal and monetary government policies. So intervention through policies, through government policies. Now, this leads us to something that's known as the pendulum approach to studying economic theory. Pendulum approach is pretty simple. So imagine a clock with a pendulum. I'm going to draw a clock here. So on the extreme left, on the left we've got Karl Marx. On the extreme right, we have Adam Smith with his unrestricted, unfettered viewpoint of a market. So we've got Adam Smith. And in the middle, we've got John Keynes. Now, the idea usually proposed is the fact that the polar extremities of economic theories are never truly sustainable in its true sense. So what essentially you end up with is a pendulum-like movement that finally comes and rests in the middle.